Microdose, yeah, Microdose. Hosted by Kush, Hayes, and Robyn Seto. Talking the talk, cause they got things for you to know. Let's go party with Miss Robyn in the games on Cameo. Yeah, Microdose, Microdose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose. What gets this next? Go and take a guess. No matter who it is, every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. If you disagree, you're crazy, simple as chess. Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here, coming to you. Summer movie edition of the Microdose. It's my favorite time of year. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we're finally into it. We had Fast 9 come out this Friday. Was it good? No, it was not. But we might talk a little bit about that. But before we do anything, I always want to bring in Robyn Seto. Miss Robyn, if you're nasty, how are you doing coming up on this holiday weekend?
I'm fantastic. I'm busy. I'm going crazy, but I feel very good about it. I think it's the summer heat. I think it's making me go crazy, but I'm just going to ride this wave.
You got that Sacramento heat too. That shit is brutal. You know, like, I mean, I understand Portland and Seattle had some huge problems last week, but something about Sacramento's sun is just, it's devastating.
What?
Well, let's see if we can bring some coolness in here. He's a repeat guest. He's a two-time Robyn Seto cameo party winner.
Uh-oh.
He's the CEO of Angelcake Entertainment on YouTube. He does a recap of the challenge. I'm not sure if that's still in play, but when it is, he does it. He's also part of the Movie Minds. We can find them on iTunes, Spotify, weekly. Drew Angelman. Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic after that intro. I will never get old. I'm going to put CEO of Angelcake Entertainment on everything that I own now.
You should.
I'm a little nervous about possibly defending the title after 2 times winning. So I'm going to try to repeat it here. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Well, much like The Rock said at WrestleMania 19 when he defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin for their 3rd out of 3 matches, it's not about Act 1 or 2, but it's always about Act 3. So this is the one that counts tonight, Drew. I have to tell you, since we last engaged in the Robyn Seto cameo party, I was only 1 and like 10. I think I'm 4 and 20 now, but I'm coming off a loss. Just to be upfront, I'm coming off a loss, so that the advantage is still yours, sir. You are the champion for this, but that's coming up later. Guys, I brought us together to talk summer movies. We've had a weird couple of years because of the COVID. It always comes up, and that's no mistake. But I feel like we finally had the summer movie season start just last week. Debatable, it started in June. I'd say for the last 20 years, it's been a May thing. And then because of things like the Fast and Furious franchise and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it started creeping into April. But again, COVID came in. I feel like we're now there. What are your thoughts, Drew Angelman?
So far, nothing has caught my eye as of late that has been newly released. I did go to the movies for the first time in about 14 months.
How'd that
I just
go?
went this past Sunday. I went to go see the Fast and Furious movie. And I loved being in the theater. I got a big old bag of popcorn. I ate it to the bare bones, as it was all salty and butter at the bottom, but I ate every single kernel because I was happy to be there. Also, I needed something to distract me from Fast and Furious because it was not gripping me.
Now, are you a fan of the Fast franchise, or the Fast saga as it's now branded? Were you a fan going into it, or is this just like, I need to go to the movies? This is it.
So I'm like a roller coaster with the Fast and Furious. I was like on board with the first one. I really loved Too Fast, Too Furious. And then it was a real dip until Fast 5. And then it was a dip until Fast 7. And then Fast 8, I for some reason, Fast 8 and Hobbs and Shaw just really collided into like in a whirlwind of explosion. I think I've seen Hobbs and Shaw like 10 times in quarantine. I just play that over and over again in the background. Okay. Great soundtrack. Love The Rock and Jason Statham. But man, when I went to Fast 9, it just did not hit any of the points. I was like, this isn't nearly as fun as Hobbs and Shaw. And it just didn't grip me. Yeah, it felt like 4 years. We watched more. I think we watched more of Vin Diesel's son than I did Vin Diesel in the movie, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. But yeah, it was something else.
I am a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, but I did not appreciate this movie whatsoever. I also started thinking like we had Fate of the Furious in 2017, and then we were going to get Fast 9 2 years later as a scheduled thing. But people were like, man, that Jason Statham and The Rock dynamic, that's pretty fantastic. Let's push that forward real quickly, you know? And that took Fast 9's place. And like, all right, well, Fast 9 will come out a year later. And then the pandemic hit. Like, Fast and Furious is due to come out like maybe 3 weeks before the pandemic shut everything down. There was like a promotional concert for it on Twitter and everything. It was weird.
Every movie that's releasing now is like, oh, it's supposed to release 3 weeks before the pandemic. That's like every movie's like tagline now that's coming out, and everybody's just like, wow, it was pushed 14 months. I think that's what Black Widow was too. Black Widow was supposed to come out in June, and they just kept on pushing that back. And it's like, just push it back until we can see it, really.
Unlike Black Widow, which would be optimistic, and it ultimately changed its dates maybe as many times as Tenet did. Fast 9 just went like, you know what? There's a disease out there. A year. We're just throwing it out. We're going to wait a year. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know? And I give them props for that. But I agree. I think there's too much tweaking involved. I think there was too much listening to the fans. Spoiler alert. I don't care. I like that we went to space, but I don't feel like I'm alone here when they said we're going to space. I wanted a drag race on the moon. Am I alone on this here? Like, I didn't expect them to just float around and smash a satellite. Like, drag race on the moon, right?
Didn't we get that on Ad Astra or The Martian?
Yes,
one of those.
We did get that on Ad Astra. Great call.
Maybe they were like, they saw that Brad Pitt movie and were like, we can't do it. Cut Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones from the movie. We can't go to the moon.
I'm disappointed with that. Robyn Seto, thoughts on Fast and Furious? Is it even on your radar?
I don't think I've seen a single one of those movies.
Fascinating.
Wow. That's impressive.
I don't know how I've managed to avoid it. It's not like I've gone out of my way to not watch them. Like, even like maybe I was at a friend's house and they're just, oh yeah, we're just watching that, or even catching it at the end of like a TNT thing before AEW starts, whatever. Yeah, I've managed to not actually see a single one of those Fast Furious movies. I know there's a Rock in there. I know there's a Diesel, and there was a walking guy. And that's all right. I really know. That's all I know. And there's cars, and apparently they go into space.
They do in this one. They do in this one.
Yeah, that's that noise right there sums up my knowledge of Fast and Furious and etc.
There was a point in the newest movie where I was like, this all started back when they were illegally stealing DVDs out of a truck, and now we're in space. Look how far we've come. The American dream.
Evolution. It's quite an evolution. I normally hate prequels. I hate going backwards, but I feel like they did a really good job with those flashbacks. But because there were so many of them, I was just like, well, we could have just had this be the movie. Like, I wouldn't have mind Fast and Furious babies for like one-off. Like, again, work on that space scene, okay? Work on getting us drag racing on the moon. And let's talk about the time that Dominic Toretto almost killed a guy with a monkey wrench. Like, this is lore we're talking about, Robyn. These are seeds that were sprinkled in various movies, and we finally got to see it. And it was like, all right, I like this, you know?
I don't think coming into a 9th installment, a 10th movie in a film franchise, that I would be hit with so much exposition in a movie. There was so much talking and so much buildup. And it's like, first of all, 9th installment, yet let alone a Fast and Furious movie. There's too much talking, Just vroom vroom, punch punch. Let's get it going in an hour and a half. I don't need this to be 4 years long. Let's get it going.
That's fair. We mentioned about release dates changing on the list I have here, and we're not going to go over all of them, but I don't know. There's a dozen titles here. 5 of them are original for and intended for this year specifically. Those are Shyamalan's Old, coming out July 23rd. There's an Aretha Franklin biopic called Respect that comes out in August 13th. Same day, Don't Breathe Part 2. I have not seen the first one. Heard great things. Surprised they're doing a sequel with that. And then a new Hugh Jackman film, Reminiscence, followed by another film that's just La Femme Nikita. It might even still be a Luc Besson film. But Maggie Q, who's ironically in a La Femme Nikita TV series, is the protege. So those are our brand new movies that weren't pushed back all the way. But Drew, what movies are you excited for coming up starting now?
So I have on my list No Sudden Move, which is a rated R mystery thriller crime drama set in 1954, where in Detroit, a group of small-time criminals are brought together for a job. This is a Steven Soderbergh directed film, and it stars a ton of people. Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, David Harbour, John Hamm is in there, and even Brendan Fraser is coming back to the limelight.
All right. Hey.
Early reviews look very positive. There was only 12, though, and it's the 92% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. It releases on July 1st on HBO Max. So definitely check that one out. It looks really good. Looks like a smaller film, I will say. Then I have Space Jam, A New Legacy, because why not? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be ridiculous. I was a huge fan of the first one. I really, another Don Cheadle jam as well in that one, as he's the main protagonist. I really do hope that we get that theme song back in this one. And
the original Space Jam theme, that hot Lana beat. Just
except I don't want a remix. I just want it to be the original.
Just want the original.
Don't do the Mortal Kombat thing where they made it slow and try to put like violins in it. Just give me the normal one. And finally, I have a late bloomer. I got August 27th, the new Candyman, which is going to be a direct sequel to the 1992 film of the same name. Now it's going to be rated R, of course. I never saw a Candyman movie in my life until last October when Angry Geek from the Movie Minds podcast, he and I are huge horror fans. He lives in Chicago. And so he was like pushing me to watch it. I watched it, the first one. It's fantastic. And what's also I'm really looking forward to in this movie is that Jordan Peele is credited as a writer. So I am enthusiastic with anything he touches, and I will watch anything he even like looks upon. So I'm very excited for that.
Candyman came out when I was in the 6th grade. And that's one of those things you had a hard time getting, but you'd get your hands on the video cassette anyways, pay-per-view cable, etc. But it was always like, I was told this is the scariest movie out right now, and it's just like this weird dynamic study about urban life in deep Chicago. Like and apparently sometimes we go boo. Like the scenes that were scary, but then there's just a lot of subtext and just a lot of waiting around. And is this bitch crazy? Could be. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the question. The sequels, they try to like create more of lore, and they're not good. But Tony Todd is scary in everything. That's I am excited about Candyman. Robyn, what's on your list there?
All right. I also was noticing Space Jam, mostly because I remember it being a very big deal when it came out. I think I was 5 or 6 years old. I was definitely in kindergarten, and I remember this vividly, that we had hatched baby chickens, little chicks, in the classroom as part of some, I don't know, farm life thing for kindergartners. And then we got to vote on what the chicks' names were. So there were 3 chicks, and one of them was Tweety, and the other one was Michael Jordan. And so that's how enthusiastic the kids were about Space Jam at this time. Now, the third one was Michael Jackson, and that was confusing for me because they were both like MJ, and I was just like, And then the chicks went off to some unknown territory within a few weeks. So, but my only real criticism on Space Jam 2 is that Billy West isn't in it as any of the characters. Maybe he didn't want to do it, but he was in the last Space Jam, and I really like Billy.
Just because I don't know.
Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd mostly. So, but I just really like Billy West, and I'm biased.
Yeah, same here. I'm a huge fan of his.
That's the guy who plays Fry on Futurama.
Yes, Fry and the Professor and Zoidberg and many other beloved. Everybody. Good news. Yeah, so that's July 16th. Also coming out July 16th, that was on my radar, was Road Runner, the Anthony Bourdain movie. Okay. I really like Anthony Bourdain. I spent a lot of time with my family and friends watching the Travel Channel and his shows, and I always felt like he had a very sort of holistic and unique way of looking at the world. And so his death was pretty impactful to me. I mean, for celebrity death, I usually don't care that much, but I think just because like I felt like he was more so just being himself in front of the camera. I would like to check that out. It has interviews with people who are close to him. A lot of them showed up on a lot of his various TV shows like David Chang and Eric Ripert. If you're familiar with any of Anthony Bourdain's shows, you know who those guys are. It's directed by Morgan Neville, who did the Mr. Rogers documentary in 2018. The Won't You Be My Neighbor? So yeah. So I'm interested in that. And lastly, I actually went out and saw a movie at a theater, which is rare for me. I mean, as been listening to the Microdose podcast long enough, you'd know that the last movie I saw in the theater was Detective Pikachu. So Sparks, or just Sparks, is the band. And Edgar Wright directed this really interesting documentary kind of chronicling their career all the way from 1974, when they started out as a band called Half Nelson, all the way up till 2020. They have a catalog of 25 albums. They've been releasing music pretty consistently that in the entire span of 1974 till pretty much today. And it's interesting because I had actually not heard of this band at all until a few months ago. My boyfriend introduced them to me, and it was just kind of interesting that as soon as they came on my radar, I noticed that movie was coming out. So we saw it together, and it's very Edgar Wright. It's got a lot of fun visual gags. There's a lot of really interesting things. I feel like even if you went into it not knowing anything about the band or the kind of music they make and the different influences they've had on other musicians throughout the years, you'd have a lot of fun watching it just because it's so visually interesting. And the guys themselves in the band, there's two guys, they're brothers, and their last name isn't Sparks. So it's Russell and Ronald Mayle. And Ronald writes the music and plays the keys, and Russell sings all the songs, and they're very interesting dynamic. So I highly recommend this. If you like Edgar Wright films, you'll like this. If you like kind of avant-garde crap, you'll like this.
How's the crowd for that screening?
Pretty small. Not dead. Surprisingly, there were more people there than I expected. It's a pretty long documentary. We got there, I think it probably started around 8:00. We didn't get out of there until like 10:30. So maybe plan a little intermission, but it's all really interesting. It didn't feel like it was that long.
Nice.
So yeah, check it out. It's there's a lot of interviews with celebrities like Neil Gaiman, Beck, Jade Whelan from the Go-Go's. She even did songs with them at some point in her career, which I had no idea. Jason Schwartzman, Flea. So yeah, it's a pretty weird look behind the curtain of the music industry too. So yeah, check that out. The Sparks Brothers, directed by Edgar Wright.
All right. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out just in the next 2 months. So the day that this gets released, I will also be releasing a review for the Forever Purge. The Purge franchise has been something that, while it disgusts me, I've somehow seen every movie plus the 2 TV seasons. And for some reason, they all get increasingly a little bit better. They're promising that this is going to be the last Purge, but I highly doubt that. I don't know.
If it makes money, then it will not be the last one.
They for some reason canceled the TV series, which I think is weird because they finally did something interesting with that. Like, there was a buildup to like, we're going to go rob this federal seized asset safe. Okay, so there's like $3 billion in cash in the safe, and that's what we're building up to. There's B stories and C stories about murder, death, kill, but the big climax for that whole season was a bank heist, and I wish we would see more stuff like that. You know what? I've been invested in the Escape Room is now a franchise. They got Tournament of Champions, which I think we're a little early to be calling that shot. I think we should have like 1 or 2 more escape rooms before we get to the Tournament of Champions, but who knows if there'll even be a third one. The Green Knight, A24's Renaissance film, that was one of those films that got cut. It skipped a couple dates pre-pandemic, I want to say. Can you confirm that, Drew?
I do not know. This was put on my radar from a friend who said we read this story in our high school English class, and I was like, I don't believe you. You're a liar. I don't remember reading anything about this.
That's coming out June 30th, man. I'm super excited about that.
I love Dev Patel. Whatever he's in, I'll watch it. I think I watched The Wedding Guest. I think that was one of his films that was like low on the totem pole of like people like talking about it. It was bad, but I loved Dev Patel in it.
Let's see. Any thoughts on The Green Knight, Robyn? On this Kino? Kino's back on the menu.
Please don't take me to the theater. That's all I have to say about Kino. It's not Kino time anymore.
I completely lost on that reference.
Oh yeah, so a while ago, when I was still single, some rando from a Red Letter Media Group sent me a message saying, "Oh hey, I notice you live like within 20 miles of me. Maybe we should go to the theater sometime. Haha, quarantine, more like Kino time." He got blocked, and
okay, good. Drew is making the most appropriate frowny face right now.
Did you give him your contact information, or did he just find that on his own as well?
He DM'd me on Facebook Messenger, and because it shows what city I'm in on my page, and his city is within like 20 miles from where I live. So I was just like, no, please, no. Please, no.
That's I hate Facebook Messenger for that reason. Anybody can get a hold of you and just send you a message, and then it'll say that you've seen it or whatever. Like, at least with Instagram, people can send you stuff, and then you can look at the message and then just delete or block them like right away, and they will never know if you saw their message or not. Gosh, man, that is so creepy.
Super creepy.
Oh yes. Oh, it's great to be a woman in the 21st century.
Oh. We just had an earthquake. Oh, here we go.
Oh my goodness, Kush.
Yep, this is it.
This is some San Francisco right here.
All right. Is that all we're doing?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
You didn't get under the table like you were supposed to.
It didn't escalate to that degree, thankfully. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I would have just had to turn my back because there's a window right there. But even that's covered up. So yeah, we're all right. All right.
I'm glad everything was okay.
Yeah, that's a baby one, but it was big enough that
I saw the shake on the camera.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So that's what that's like, Drew. I don't know if you've ever been through one of those.
No, I've only been through hurricanes.
Okay.
Hurricanes are pretty scary.
I have not been through a hurricane. I think I'm more terrified of a hurricane than an earthquake. Both so unpredictable. But let me see here. We talked about the Green Knight. Suicide Squad, is that on your radar, Drew? I did not see the first one.
Well, you won't have to see it because this is already a reboot / reimagining because that one stunk so bad.
That one stunk so bad, but made near $1 billion and came out with an Academy Award.
That's the DCEU for you. It's falling forwards is basically their motto. I'm looking forward to this one just for the sole fact that I know one of the guys are going to pick it / me is going to pick it for 1 week to do it on the podcast. So I'm going to watch it. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint.
Free Guy. That's one of those movies that just got bounced 4 or 5 times. The Ryan Reynolds. It's Lego movie with Ryan Reynolds. What do you think about that?
I'm more excited about Taika Waititi in it. But I don't know what to expect from this movie. I just saw the trailer again for it before Fast 9. And I was just like, all right, I guess that's a movie. I guess that's a thing. We can do that, sure.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is going to be funny in it. I think we can all agree on that without seeing it, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be like Deadpool with a tie and slacks. Like, that's how I feel like it's going to be.
He managed to make Detective Pikachu very enjoyable. Indeed. Although I wish they'd have like an R-rated version.
I
want to hear Pikachu say the F word. Come on.
That can be created. That can be done.
I'm 30.
And then Reminiscence, was that on your mind or on your radar at all, Drew? Like, it feels like it's a version of Inception. But
I'll be honest.
Seen the trailer.
I'll be honest. I didn't know that was a movie until you said it earlier, and I was like, Hugh Jackman has a movie? Oh, that's interesting. That's neat.
It's coming out August 20th, the week before Candyman.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's our summer movies. I think we'll see what happens with this. And then we'll have you back and we'll talk about something in the autumn or something in the winter. But let's get to Seto's Cameo Party. We got a game tonight. 2-time reigning champion Drew Angelman is here. What's our theme?
Well, I guess I don't really know how to call this theme, but I'm pretty sure you'll all know who these guys are. So it'll be fun. Welcome to my party. It's where I go to cameo.com and I make a list of celebrity cameos to have Kush go up against our guest to guess the price of each celebrity cameo. And Mr. Drew Angelman, as a 2-time winner of my party, you get to go first.
Sweet deal.
And now, Mr. Edward James Olmos.
Ooh, Eddie J.
All right. I just have to look something up on my phone real quick.
All right. Well, we'll give you some fast facts. He was on Miami Vice, the TV show, the original TV show, as Lieutenant Marty Castile.
Okay.
He was on the Battlestar Galactica reboot that was on from 2004 to 2009. And I guess he's had recent appearances on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a character called Robert Gonzalez.
Oh, neat.
So
I didn't know that.
he's got a lot of various small acting roles and cameos under his belt, and he's been acting a long time. So do what you will with that information.
All right. When I heard Battlestar Galactica, I was like, okay, maybe it's a little higher. And then you got to Agents of Shields, and then I was like, all right, it's gonna be a little lower. I'm gonna say a solid $45.
45.
Edward James Olmos, Eddie J. For those in the know, he's Battlestar Galactica is probably what he's known for the most today. But growing up in my time, he did Zoot Suit. He was Stand and Deliver, which is a true story about this guy who went into the barrio and talked to just gang members, had to do like calculus and just like throwing the scores like off the charts. Like some of the best test scores came in because of this guy.
Okay.
American Me, which was the prison movie that people get mistaken for Blood In, Blood Out for at the same time. They're very similar films. It's understandable to why both 3-hour prison odysseys. The difference between American Me and Blood In, Blood Out is people actually died because of the content in American Me. Like the prison gang that was represented were like, fuck you and fuck all that. Stab, stab, stab to like people just related to the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scary.
Having said all that, Edward James Olmos is charging $250 for his cameo to say happy birthday. It's your quinceañera.
Well, Edward James Olmos is charging exactly $250 for a cameo. So,
wow.
Point for host, Kush Hayes.
I'm on a streak, baby.
Yeah, next up, though, John Heater, Napoleon Dynamite.
Damn.
And Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell, the ice skating comedy movie.
For Scoundrels.
Yeah, he's got more acting credits than you might think. I don't really think I've seen him in much lately, though. So there you go. What do you think Mr. John Heater's charging, Drew?
Well, I'm already in a bad position. Not getting from $250 to $45. So now I have to really get this one on the nose. John Heater. He hasn't been in a lot recently. He is younger, so maybe he's not overcharging like some people. From Battlestar Galactica. I'm not trying to name any names.
Uh-oh.
Laonda is not impressed.
That's a read.
I'm gonna say he's really chill, but he will still want like $125.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good
All
one.
right.
John Heater. God damn. I hate Napoleon Dynamite with so much fervor. It's one of those things where I went on a date with and my date loved it, but I was just like this. I'm just like stewing and just rage. Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then I would be cursed with that hate to have Comedy Central just play it on loop for years. Like, I sleep with the TV on, so I'll wake up at 9 in the morning and like Caroline in the City is playing or Napoleon Dynamite. I'm like, this is the worst way to wake up, like in both of these situations. Oh my God. John Heater's a funny dude. I don't mean to hate on him. I just don't like that movie or why it's popular. So but I'm going to go with the same number, $250, because he's still a name. People love that Napoleon Dynamite. Doesn't matter what I think. People love that movie. People get offended like when you say Scott Pilgrim sucks.
How dare you? Get out.
It does, though. The comic books do. Well, the movie's good.
The movie's pretty.
The movie's pretty. The movie's pretty. The story's bad. The comic books suck. Brian Lee O'Malley, listen up. Anyway, so what is Johnny Heater charging for a cameo? $249. So Kush is $1 over, and so therefore point goes to Drew. Uh-oh.
Holy shit.
Oh.
I hate John Hader even more now.
Somebody's a John Hader.
Oh.
I'll look into that point. I'll take it.
There you go. All right. Well, next we have Mr. Elliot Gould.
Okay.
He's funny. He's serious. He's had a very long acting career. I guess one of his earlier roles was in the MASH movie in 1970. He was in both, he had cameos in both the Muppet movie, the original one, and the Muppets Take Manhattan. He had a role in American History X and has been in at least 3 Ocean's 11 movies.
Really?
He was in Ocean's 11 in 2001 and Ocean's 12 in 2004 and Ocean's 8 in 2018.
Ocean's 8, okay.
Apparently.
I forget who was in all of those. So. All right.
He was Elliot Gould.
Fair enough. Touche.
Drew, what do you think the great Elliot Gould is charging?
So when you first said the name, I instantly got it confused with Chris Elliott. I was like, oh, that guy. And then you started rattling off. And I was like, now that's different. I feel like there's like a pattern here, and I should go with 248. But I
always seeing those patterns. Yeah.
But then again, he is an older chap. He might be going in the way of other older chaps wanting to get as much money from the common folk through his Ocean's movies. I'm going to go with 325.
That's a strong guess. That's a strong guess. Elliot Gould is a motherfucker. He's got an impressive resume, but he, for some reason, thinks he's above everybody else. I've heard interviews with him, and he's just he's a boorish drone, and he's yeah. I've not seen MASH. I've seen other stuff he's in. He's fine. I don't have any real comment on his performances. However, I'm gonna say he's going to go the Richard Dreyfuss route, and I don't know if you paid attention to the show, Drew. He's charging $999 because that's that fuck you money. Like, I don't want to do this, but give me $1,000 and I'll do it. $999.
Whoa, Elliot Gould is charging $300, so no points.
Dagnabbit.
Wow.
I knew it had 3.
Both didn't like him enough. I mean, you just thought he was too greedy. That's okay. There's 2 more left. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Freddie Prinze Jr. What do you think, Drew? Yeah, well, what do you think, Drew?
Well, trying to get all this money from She's All That Resurgence, the Scooby-Doo franchise. Not Monsters Unleashed, even though that is an underrated film. He was on an episode of Psych as a geeky nerd. Geeky nerd, that's what I said. I love Freddie Prinze Jr. I think he would be really cool, though. I don't think he would charge $300, but he could, and I would think about paying it. Only if his wife was in it, too. And they could both say happy birthday.
Who's his wife?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Good for him.
Daphne married Freddie in this world, sweet. And everything is right in it. Well, in the Scooby-Doo world. I'm gonna say a cool 125 that John Heater should be charging.
I'm with Drew on this one. The FPJ, he seems just like a really cool dude you could hang out with. Now, I don't think I've ever seen a movie with him, but he was a pop culture phenomenon. Chicks loved him. I get it. I ain't jealous. My respect for Freddie Prinze Jr. Obviously, his dad is Freddie Prinze Sr. He's a classic comedian who hasn't been with us for a long, long time. However, FPJ became a writer at WWE and wrote some of the greatest wrestling storylines that we had in the last decade.
That's right.
Going on that, I'm going to say Freddie Prinze Jr. is probably charging $200, but he's doing it for charity.
Yeah. So you're going with $200. He is charging $150 for a cameo. So, point for Drew.
Yes,
all right.
FPJ.
All right. We have one last one. There is a tiebreaker this time if we do need to break the tie. Okay.
This is me cabbage patching. I'm going to get that win.
We have Mr. Wayne Knight.
Okay.
Mr. Wayne Knight.
Newman.
You didn't say the magic word.
Also in Space Jam.
Oh yeah, he is.
Also in Space Jam.
He's fixing a divot. Yeah, maybe he's getting some. Maybe he's gonna charge more because the new Space Jam's coming out. Gosh, to me, he's gonna really milk the Newman route. I'm surprised he's on there as himself and not Newman.
Is that a thing you can do? Just be your character?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I mean, if you're a one-hit wonder, you're just doing that character. I mean, everybody's gonna call you up anyways, so why not just be like the character? You can call up the character and I'll do the voice and all this other stuff. You know what? I feel like he's gonna be that Newman-esque villain and ask for an exorbitant amount of money, and to me that means $50 because I'm broke. But I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna go with $203.
Oh, okay. You've got a little tax money in there. Okay, fair enough. Kush.
Wayne Knight. I don't think Wayne Knight's necessarily a one-hit wonder. I think his appearance on Seinfeld, or his role on Seinfeld, I should say, like is eclipses everything he's done. You know, but there's people who've never seen Seinfeld and only know him for his role in Jurassic Park. I appreciate him in Jurassic Park as well. He's also done a lot of little funny cameos. I don't need to stretch for any more time, but I'm gonna say $100. Newman's a good dude. He's also doing it for charity.
Wayne Knight is charging $330
for
a cameo. So, triple winner, Drew Angelman. Congratulations. You wear the crown for a third time this week.
I would like to thank Newman for being exorbitant with his thinking that he is worth $330 worth his cameo. Maybe he is. Maybe he's getting a lot of money at that, but not enough for me.
Seto's cameo party.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drew Angelman can be found on Twitter at Drew Angelman. 3-time Robyn Seto cameo party winner. He's the CEO of Angelcake Entertainment, where you can find his videos reacting to the challenge. He's also part of the Movie Minds. It's a weekly show. You can find that on iTunes, Spotify, and probably several other platforms. Drew, am I missing anything?
No, you even added more than what I would have said. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, player. My pleasure.
Yeah. I enjoyed.
Seto, what do you do right here?
I wanted to say real quick. I enjoyed your video of Hell's Kitchen of the worst blind taste tests.
Thank you. That was so much fun to put together.
It's always fun. That's probably my favorite part of Hell's Kitchen, and thank you for putting that together. And around the BosNet, I'm taking a little vacation from it right now, but you can check out my polite beer expressions. It's a weekly craft beer little article review. They're really easy to read and quick, so it's not like you have to sit down and put your reading glasses on. Every week I have a different craft brew that I've reviewed. Those usually go up on Wednesdays at noon California time because we like to sleep in, although I did mention I'm on vacation right now, so look for the return of those in August. In the meantime, check out some fun sours.
Yeah, Robyn, what would you recommend for the 4th of July weekend? If anything off the top of your head?
Oh, for the 4th of July. Well, there are lots of different kinds of fun things out there. Right off the top of my head, I recently had Oscar Blues Little Yellow Pills, and that's very enjoyable and goes well with food, especially barbecue. So, yeah, maybe pick some of those up. Those are pretty easy to find.
Folks, it's July 2nd as this drops. You can check out my review for The Final Purge. That's up on the bosnet.family/reviews. Also, the Kick-Ass Movie Podcast 2 days ago, June 30th, we dropped The Perfect Weapon. Me and director Len Kabaczynski, we were talking about Jeff Speakman's maybe best movie, The Perfect Weapon. That's episode 3, June 30th. We just had that. And then weekly, I do a show non-related to BosNet called Waffle Box. Friend of the show, Mike Fish. Him and I get together once a week. We're going to review Fast and Furious 9. We're going to talk about the new furry game show on NBC and then, other stuff. There's some show out there where they put incredible prosthetics on people and then put them on some strange blind date. So like you'll see someone dressed up like a porpoise and someone dressed up like a werewolf. I just made that last one up, but then it's apparently based on an Asian game show. Surprise, surprise. And
thanks.
We'll talk about that.
You had my attention, but now I am intrigued. I cannot wait.
Sexy Beast. There's a porpoise in this screenshot here. It's a Netflix show.
Sexy Beast. That's a horrifying title, by the way. So I look forward to hearing you talk about that.
It's a UK show. Somehow it got a Netflix license. And yeah, in this screenshot, there's a woman with a dolphin head. Like it's got a fin. It's got a blowhole. It's I don't know who she went on a date with, but that happened.
I'm scared.
We'll be talking about that in on Waffle Box. You can find that on YouTube and Spotify.
All right.
Drew Angelman, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I can't wait to talk more movies with you in the fall and or the winter. For Drew Angelman, I've been Kush Hayes.
I've been Kush Hayes.
And Drew's been Robyn.
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the BosNet family.
Sometimes we go boo.